fifth annual global event for the healing and thriving of Earth and all her inhabitants. During the first 7 days of the new year, we unite around the world to renew ourselves and our sacred bonds with each other and with all of life, with uncompromising commitment to living the truth of who we are. We rebirth ourselves, individually and collectively, as wise and loving stewards of creation. Together, we lay the foundations and prepare for a new era of love and wisdom in action.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Rest in Resonance. This is day 5, and our theme today is sharing. I love this theme, and I was out doing prayer spirals yesterday, and I was thinking about how each of these themes continue to kind of like radiate out from the center of our hearts. And today's sharing, I can feel what we've been generating together is already rippling out. And today you are going to be able to enjoy a bunch of things that Gary is going to be sharing. Gary, why don't you pop on? And there are a bunch of firsts that nobody's seen before. I thought that when we were talking today, this morning, Rise, you were showing me all the things that we're going to get to experience today. What a perfect example of sharing. And from the place from which you're sharing, that's what we want to feel and cultivate together today. So welcome, everyone. Thank you for taking time out of your day, out of your week, to keep dropping deeper with us into rest and sacred renewal.
So good to be here with you. This is really something I could get used to. And every night before, thinking about all the things that I've had the great privilege to create over the last 30 years and to handpick them like flower arrangements for each theme, and whittling down. I always end up having like 10 things on the page and they get whittled down to 3 or 4 at least, so it's been such an honor and a joy and a pleasure. And to be in the field that you've cultivated so much. I mean, yes, there are many supporters. I just want to acknowledge Julie Krull from Good of the Whole and the Sign Network and Unity Earth and all these allies that are supporting us and spreading the word about this, because we all are in alignment with Shelley and Jan's amazing creation. And I finally, and I'm embarrassed to say this, I finally went online last night and it was like, holy cow.
Yeah.
You guys, you got to, I loved when you showed the website. It's like to see the array of things from all over the world that are resonating with rest and sacred renewal. It is so inspiring that I decided last night that I would just make it a thing. Like every day, let's just pick one of them and have them be part of my daily life in 2022. And just because how could I go wrong, right? Every day I need to have a moment of rest and sacred renewal. So it's just a beautiful resource. By all means, do not think this is only for the first 7 days of the year, my dears.
Yeah,
I went there too.
I went there too, Gary, yesterday, and I actually played something by Hope, who we have on today, which is really amazing, and some others. And I was going to say the same thing, like what I saw on the 7 days of rest and renewal, when I expanded the calendar, there is sharing. Like that is an example of sharing at a quantum level. So I hope you'll all go. We'll put the links in the chat. And Gary, I think you have something really beautiful to start us off with.
I do.
Just to take us right. Let's go.
Let's just jump in. So,
Sharing.
so when I was working on the score for the Awakening the Dreamer Symposium, which many of you might not know is the beautiful training program that's touched millions of people in 30 plus countries from the Pachamama Alliance, there was a cue that every time I wrote the music for it or every time I reviewed it, I could not cry. And this music, it takes a long time to cultivate the love of simplicity. And so this track creates the spaciousness for us to be aware of this sharing archetype, not only in the animal kingdom, but also the recognition of sharing together the reality of the mass extinction event. And I hate to often be a bummer, but the beauty of being with the truth of what is, we get to share that together. Like yesterday when we shared with James's work, it broke our, that line that he said, we have to understand how to live with our hearts broken every day, right?
Yeah, broken
So,
open.
so let's,
our hearts broken open.
So this is a slideshow of images that embody sharing and also the shared experience of what we are facing today. And if you'll let me just,
Yeah.
I almost feel like I want to apologize for jumping so quickly into the depth of that, but there's nothing to be sorry for other than not being authentic, not being true, not being honest. So, yeah. Kaylin, why don't you play now the 1-2 punch of the next piece by my beloved friend Neil Rogan, who went in the studio with me and we created this tiny little transformance. And allow this to take you even further, deeper into the power what listening itself does to our coherence on multidimensional levels. Let's listen to this. It's called Invisible.
The source of the visible is invisible. We come from the invisible spectrum of love. and manifest into the visible spectrum of light. Light is love looked upon and seen. Light is love slowed down enough to become visible. The essence of all reality is love in motion. The only thing faster than the speed of light is the speed of love. It is instantaneous. Speed is infinite when something simply is. Love is. There is no distance when love is. Speed is a function of separation. Separation is an illusion. No separation, no time, no speed. Love moves at the ultimate velocity. Godspeed.
You just took us right in, just right off the bat, right? Those images of the animals and thinking about just all of the life we share this planet with. Just the preciousness and the fragileness and the potency, just all of it. And I'm just so inspired that we dedicate our time today. We dedicate this feeling that we're going to cultivate all together in the communion of our souls and our heart, and that we pulse the planet with it. We send it out and let no molecule be left untouched by the sharing of our love today.
No molecule untouched.
No molecule untouched by the sharing of our love and presence and joy and heartfulness and tenderness and heartache. All of it. Yes.
I love that phrase, my dear. No molecule untouched. That's just that's a keeper.
Mm.
Yeah, I want to bring attention to the fact that this experience for me is showing me what it was all for, in a way.
Mm-hmm.
It's like coming home to the recognition of the grace of listening, of the listening to generative sounds that awaken our, like Rudolf Steiner called it, our innate connection to truth, beauty, and goodness. So when the vibrations are sculpted in a way that are intended to line up with truth, beauty, and goodness, we become cleansed on a molecular level, on a quantum level. So suddenly our listening is like the most profound spiritual flossing of our capacity to be present with what is at every scale and in every dimension and every chakra and in every frequency of our consciousness, right? Yeah. And I didn't know that until I'm sharing it with you all. When 2 or 1,000,000 or more are present, but those relationships of those animals. So I'm having another one of those overwhelming feelings where I've had a chance in this series to not only come up with the idea of rest and resonance with my friend John DeLees, by the way. I want to acknowledge Jonathan DeLees, who came up with R&R, the idea R&R, reframing the concept of R&R at a whole new level. Thank you, Jonathan, for that. But what I want to say is that I've had the opportunity to invite these bodhisattva heroes in my life who you might not know of, who are doing extraordinary things.
Mm.
I mean, yesterday was with James Fox was just wow. So today, when I thought of the archetype sharing, the first person I thought of was Hope Fitgerald, and you'll know why today. Because something that there's so many levels, she fits in every one of them on the archetypes, but this one, she has a way, what she received is a way to create valenced, meaningful sharing connection between you and earth, between you and each other, between you, between you and God. She has a beautiful system by which you can share energies in a way that allows us to touch one another just by our presence, right? So today we get to experience that.
Should we invite her on? Are we ready
Let's do
for
it.
that? Hi, Hope.
Hi everybody.
It's so nice to share this time with you today and to have you share your heart with everyone. I was on the 7 Days of Rest in Sacred Renewal website yesterday, and I just randomly was scrolling through and I saw Lisa Ravel was offering some things, and then I saw something from you on cultivating. And so that's what I spent some time with. It was just beautiful. Thank you so much for your gifts. Yeah.
So Hope, we're
My total pleasure and honor.
Yeah, no, it's delightful. We're going to share something now together, the three of us, that is the preamble to your time together that we're going to find out more about everything. But I wanted you to be in, intentionally as we're listening and looking. This is a world premiere that you're about to see that no one's ever seen, even though it was created 11 years ago. And I picked it for the obvious reasons, but it is almost humorous how we humans share these qualities that you'll be seeing in this visual wisdom film. So I don't think you've ever seen this, Hope, after all the years we've known each other. So this is called The New Interview with God. And I think it's self-explanatory, but you need to read the screen. So this case where I ask you to close your eyes, try not to close your eyes unless you want to just hear music, because that's all music and images. Okay. All right. Kaylin, thank you. all these qualities we share. So universal, isn't it?
Yeah. Every minute we're sharing. And when we really kind of consider the quality from which we're sharing from, that's the part that we can offer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hope, I'd love to bring you in also, just your reaction, just anything that comes up for you after seeing that.
Aside from being completely choked up, you mean besides that? Well, I mean, I think it's a profound piece. It's profound in the language, and as always, your music just flows so perfectly with the images and the words. And I think if I read the words by themselves, and I feel like I have somewhere, but
Well, yeah.
right, I've seen that,
It's one of the
and
earliest internet and sensations in the early 2000s. And we got the rights to use those words, but they're very profound, and you can Google them. Interview with God. The lyrics are available online. But yeah, they're powerful.
oh, that's good to know for people. Well, I remember reading it, and I was moved. Beautiful. I was really moved by them originally, but when you add in the other elements, and as always, that music just sends it soaring, to higher levels and deeper levels. So I think you did another masterpiece there, Gary, and I can't wait for that to be available for people.
Yeah, I think it's going to be on the next season of Gaia TV's Islands of Inner Peace. And we're doing a second season at Gaia TV, which is very exciting. And I hope that that'll be part of that. And, I just was thinking as you were talking, Teresa, that wonderful molecular statement. I think this whole rest and resonance is molecular reconnaissance. We're on the molecular reconnaissance team.
Truly, truly.
Yeah. It reminds me, that little event we did with you and Marshall and Theo. And I'll put that clip in because it's such a beautiful clip about the power of music in cultivating coherence. And Marshall talked in there about how every little cell in our body, it's like this little torus, is like a different note in this symphony. And so when you were just saying that about, every molecule, really like every molecule of life is a note in this symphony, and that we're connected to the whole thing. And each of us has all of these little parts that make up our song. And then all of our songs connect with all the molecules of all of the people and all the animals and all of life. And that's the symphony that's playing. And that's really what you're offering us in these days where we're, being, guided by music or lifted by it or taken into a deep place by it, that we're beginning to be able to feel and sense and hear the symphony that is life. So thank you. Thank you for every day helping us to feel this symphony more deeply with all of our senses.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. Wow. What a privilege. So I want to share why I wanted Hope to be here today, because we're going to pivot to Hope now. I think I said it already, but you have helped me ground, specifically with your technique that you're going to talk about, in a way that I didn't really have a direct experience of what embodiment really meant until I started doing the infinity wave with the earth at the level, and you guys will all experience this. And to me, my net effect, what it left me, was I am infinitely more willing to share, and there's more of me to share. It's that full cup thing. So I am so much fuller and more, I'm becoming a person I'm loving, right? Which was never the case. And all your contribution to my becoming has been a very important part of my life. And so share with us your story, and then we'll do a meditation that you have planned for us as well.
Well, I think it's a perfect lead in what you were saying, Teresa, on the molecular level, because really when we're talking about quantum energies, we're talking about those levels and even smaller, and how we can work with them and influence them. The infinity wave, just to briefly give people a sense of what it is and how it arrived quite suddenly and surprisingly into my life in 2010 in a series of visions. And the visions all had to do with water, the first of which was a giant 100-foot wave, beautiful turquoise, not scary, but it was moving toward me. And the byline of it said, "This wave represents a push of evolution that is coming to the planet. And if you learn to swim with the wave or surf this wave, your evolution will go easier, it'll be more easy and more smooth and quick as well." So I didn't know what the heck that meant. It was immediately turned into a side view of the wave, which is like what you're used to seeing a surfer coming through the curl. It looks kind of like the letter C coming up out of the ocean. And that message had to do with deepening into the ocean, going into the actual earth wisdom for what would carry us forward, the wisdom keepers of the earth, those shamanic people. And then instead of the water falling right back into the ocean, the sea turned into a figure eight made of flowing water, standing like this. And there was no description, but it hung out in front of my face for about 3 days. And it kind of got to be a little in the way. So I sat down with my dowsing rods, and I started asking about what the heck this thing was. And to be brief,
For
I
those
was
people
told
who don't, for those people who don't know, dowsing rods are. I mean, just say that, so some people might not know what that is.
Okay. Well, most people know about dowsing for water. Somebody comes and walks the land, and a willow stick or some kind of stick or rods that swing like this will determine where there's a good well potential. And dowsing is also done by pendulums. There are lots of different ways to do dowsing, but I do dowsing with rods, but I do it for subtle energies, subtle information. More than water. I can do water, but I do it more for other things. So I help people with next steps in their life and things like that. So I sat down with my rods and I asked the questions, and I was told this was called the infinity wave. That's a way we can conceptualize it, and that it is a 10th dimensional energetic sent to us by a loving universe to help us through upcoming times of a lot of turmoil. And I was told to go and create workshops. I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea. Anyway, I did all that and I started to receive practices. I was not, until that point, to my knowledge, a channeler, but I suddenly became one. And these practices came in on how to use the infinity wave. And I did them in these workshops over the course of 9 months. And I learned, along with the workshop participants, about this technology, energetic technology. And at first, of course, my literal mind could not, well, it was doubting, a lot of us doubt. And it wasn't until I started to see the results in people that lasted longer than a weekend. It lasted for months, and it sustained itself. And then I realized that this infinity wave can shift the molecular situation in a person or between people, with the earth herself. It's a game changer, and it's very quick and it's very easy. It's easy to learn. I basically already told you what it is. It's a figure eight made of flowing water. It can be any direction. There's no wrong way to do it. The main thing is that inherent in that watery flow is this 10th dimensional love and compassion. Now, those are so refined that we're not used to experiencing them on this planet. But when you introduce 10th dimensional love and compassion into a situation, what happens is all boats rise, everything lifts up. And you and I have had this experience, Gary, when we have waved on Skype back in the old days, we long distance waving, because there is no distance and there is no time. You can wave with anyone at any distance at any time, and they don't even have to know you're doing it. And once it connects, once the wave gets going, you can feel it. You kind of go, oh, you can feel it. That's all I can say.
Well, one of the things I'm amazed with, I just realized, in a way, the wave, infinity wave, is another tool like listening, right? It accompanies listening, but it's a multidimensional listening of envisioning, right? Your own inner movie of being a part of this watery flow. And so it is sort of a way of bringing us present also into the listening, attentive state. So I just love that it has even more synchronicity to why you're here today around rest and resonance, because the wave is a resonance tool, actually.
It absolutely is a resonance tool. And when you put it in terms of listening, I think that's really fascinating, because when I wave with someone, I get zoomed in. I'm in a space now, once I do that everything else falls away, and I'm completely in sync. I'm synchronized, or in resonance, as you would say, with that person or that group. It's wonderful for group exercises. I did one the other night for that, for 7 days of rest. But it is such a beautiful way. Can you hear me?
Yeah. No, go ahead, finish the sentence, and then we're going to do your meditation is a good time for now.
Okay,
go ahead,
good. Well, I'm just saying, before I do it, that this is something many people ask, well, is it okay for me to do this and not tell the person? Like, is that kosher, energetically speaking? And I always say yes, because I don't know a single person, place, thing, animal, vegetable, mineral that couldn't do with a dose of love and compassion. And so, yeah, wave away. And it's really fun when you're in traffic, you just wave the whole thing in front of you, and things start to magically break up. Things start to, like Ganesh, the obstacles move. It is very good at moving energy. It moves the situation so that it can rise to its highest and best place. And if I hadn't seen this a million times, I would be sitting back and going, yeah, right. But I've witnessed it. It's not only happened in my own life, but other people have told me many circumstances where it's worked in theirs. And so we're going to do a very simple practice today that can be applied. We're going to do it today with I'm going to, just because it's brief, we're going to imagine a loved one, but you can do it with anyone or anything, and especially nature. So this is just giving you the bare bones of how to share with a loved one.
I'll see you on the other side, Kaylin. You just let Kaylin know when you want the music to begin.
I'm ready whenever. Let us begin by imagining there is a tube running through your body, from the crown down to the sacrum and down into the earth. We are going to breathe through that tube, beginning first by focusing on the heart center and exhaling deeply into the earth. And as you do so, relinquishing into the earth, emptying into the earth anything that no longer serves you. And breathing back up into your heart center, that which the earth offers you, whatever you imagine that to be. This could be love, this could be constancy, nourishing. Whatever you imagine the earth holds for you, breathe that back into your heart center. Deep exhales, emptying, and deep inhales, filling you up. Now we will switch the focus from the heart center upwards, breathing through the tube, up and out through the crown, expanding in all directions like a fountain. And inhaling back into the heart center, all that you imagine, that realm that lies around us and above us at all times, whatever that realm has for you. This could be divine light, wisdom, love, all of the above. Deep exhales out, expanding, and inhaling into the heart, those qualities. Now allowing your presence in your heart center to hold these two realms, the gifts from these two equally spiritual realms, there in your heart center. And as you continue to breathe, you can breathe from both directions at the same time. So you're inhaling from the earth and from above, and exhaling down and above at the same time. And as you practice this breathing, the tube within you grows to accommodate even more of those qualities from above and below. And you feel this divine connection to both realms equally. As you are fed by both and as you give to both. Understanding that this is your birthright. This is your divine blueprint as a human being on this planet. To have access to both spiritual centers. Now bringing your focus back to your heart center. Imagine there is a little figure 8 of flowing water, a little infinity wave inside your heart itself. And if you need to use your finger to trace it on your heart center, that's fine, just to get it going. And just observe this infinity wave. Just experience maybe a little tingling or movement or softening in your heart center. As the water and the 10th dimensional love and compassion within it begin to melt that stiffness in the heart that comes with daily life. Just allowing the water to do the work. This takes no effort. Just letting the water do its thing. And giving yourself, as you do this, a bath of compassion for your walk, for your existence, for your choice, for all the ups and downs. This is infinite compassion for you. And the gift of love flowing in your heart. Infinite love for all you are as a soul and how you communicate that as a human. For all the ways in which you love and allow yourself to be loved. And as this wave continues to run in your heart center, pieces of the watery flow pull off and start to move through your body, working its way up and down and out. As you flood your entire body, every cell, every molecule with this love and compassion, rinsing and cleansing you as it goes, uplifting each and every cell so you feel lighter, calmer, steadier, and more present. Now take that infinity wave and orient it so that it's coming out of your body, so that one loop, one end of one loop stays anchored in your heart center, but the rest of the wave stretches out. It can stretch infinitely, but at this time it's going to stretch to someone you imagine standing opposite you. And the other end of the other loop will anchor in their heart. So now between you, there is an infinity wave running. And as this happens, you are looking at your loved one with open eyes, knowing you are sharing not only the infinite love and compassion of the infinity wave, but the infinite love from you. And they are sharing it right back. The gift of love and compassion will never end.
I just so appreciated that, Hope. Thank you so much. It was beautiful. It's always
You're
really
welcome.
satisfying to hear your amazing, beautiful magic on top of the music that I create. It's always wonderful. And thank you for that experience you've given all of us.
I just hope that that's a daily, you can do it in moments. It clicks in right away, and you can literally see reality shift in a nanosecond. That's happened so many times. So I encourage people to take it and run with it, and knowing there's no wrong way to do it. Just play, just have fun watching reality change.
Yeah.
And I love doing it with Gary's music because it just lifts it up even further for me. It's really a gift.
Teresa.
I know you did a similar meditation that I listened to yesterday, which was just glorious, to autumn stillness, which I just loved. It's one of my favorites. And the wave that you received, I got something very similar from a tree once, that came and really showed me about those two energies coming in, and this explosion of ecstasy that is my heart, of the joining of those two energies, which is what you described so beautifully in the infinity wave. And I know when I was doing it and you were inviting me to just kind of move that energy through my body, it kept growing and growing until every molecule just felt washed by this loving presence that was both me, but it was the earth and the cosmos, and it was that flow that's so available to us all the time. And I love, today, I think today, all day, no matter where you go, let's have that infinity wave washing through us, and let's send it out and bring it to everyone. And as you said, it goes infinite. So I could have my infinity wave in my heart on one side and encompass the entire earth or the cosmos with the other side. I mean, that's the level of sharing that
Exactly.
we really invoked with it. So
Exactly.
That's right, Teresa. That's it. And by the way, we don't have to be stingy and only have one wave going. We can have lots at the same time. And one last thing, we can send a wave to somebody. So it doesn't have to come from our heart. We can just wrap someone in the wave from afar. Especially going into surgery or some kind of situation, you can send it to a room so that once you get there, it's all easy peasy. Thousands of ways to use it. So, but you got it. It can expand to encompass the whole earth, and we do that often.
What I want to share is that if you guys get a chance, I got to hang out on your website yesterday, I hope, as I was kind of preparing for today, and the wealth of gifts that you give people without even, there's so much there, meditations, and you offer a Monday night meditation. You're in the East Coast. That is a magical channeling experience that is a very warm community of people. So I just want to encourage you to check out, register for Hope's Monday afternoon or Monday evening talks and her meditations. And it's a wealth of beautiful things you've offered and are offering. And I put her website on the chat, but please, I'll put it in again as well. What I was thinking was, do you have anything more you want to say before we go on to the next thing, Teresa?
No, just that was so beautiful. Thank you, Hope.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'm really honored to be with you both. Love you both.
Thank you. We love you too.
And everybody on the call. I'm just very excited to share this.
So stay with us here as we are now a unit. The listening revolution expands, right? And what I noticed was that this next thing, I was actually really surprised because I had 10 other things I wanted to share today. We were going to share the Divine Nine music because I asked you, what do you love most of my work? And for those of you who want to know more about that, you can go to the website, my website. But this came out, and I now realize, without the strength of the wave in my molecules, I'm not tethered in a way that you're being asked to be tethered for the next experience. It's an amazing, Teresa, how everything kind of nests and builds on itself in a way where it unfolds. It's all part of the nesting experience. So this experience is another first time ever. I just finished the soundtrack preparation for the 2 soundtracks to the Thrive movies that I scored. Had the great honor, for those of you who don't know, of the film Thrive 1 and Thrive 2. The first one came out in 11, the last one came out last year. thriveon.com. And I can't recommend enough. Talk about a catalyst for awakening consciousness. You don't have to agree with everything in the movie, but the way Foster and Kimberly Gamble approach their searching for truth and knowledge is a demonstration of a level of thriving with the unknown and with the ability to use free will and heart and consciousness and love of the truth. It's a demonstration of a beautiful way to be human, is what they've created for this last 20 years. Mm-hmm. So in the spirit of that inquiry, one of the centerpieces of Thrive 2 is a journey that Kimberly Gamble goes through, an ayahuasca journey that helps model this tethering experience I just mentioned, right? So for the first time, you're going to actually hear a plant, synthesized aesthetic creation, synthesizing, 14 hours into 33 minutes. So it's like a phantasmagorical, what if this were your ayahuasca journey in 3 minutes? And there's a lot of sounds, right? But when the sound is an induction to inspire your capacity to listen, you'll notice an expansion of your consciousness. And I just want to, that's all I'll say. And being an advisor to the movie, Teresa, I'm sure we'll have some things to talk about afterwards. But
well, let's keep the infinity wave going as we're receiving and experiencing this.
So I really want to encourage you to close your eyes on this unless you're driving. This is a closed eye, deep inner audible journey, sonic journey. And we'll see you on the other side. Okay.
Wow.
I know it's out there, but what I wanted it to embody was that sometimes the price of grief is love, and the price of energy is willingness to expand into unknown realms, and to tether yourself in the process is a great thing. And what was that? It was like cool to share that with all of you, because there was so much there in the fractal of the Aya journey reduced to 3 minutes. And there was something about sharing with the unseen world that
Mhm.
sometimes might not always be warm and cozy and cuddly and comfortable, but it is worth the journey. So
Yeah,
that's why I shared it.
beautiful. I love that I was doing the infinity wave the whole time, because it actually like created this, kind of like an anchor of, like my prayer spirals. Like there was spirals of energy coming out of the center of that wave that just held me in place while I moved through this whole kind of experience, right? But with just kind of that state of rest in the midst of whatever was coming. So it was a beautiful combination, right? It helped us to
Nice,
really see the power and potency of that simple practice. Oh.
nice.
And you want to say something, Hope?
No, I'm just
Okay.
nodding yes. That's
Well,
nice.
what I've noticed is listening to that helps me be more present with the present moment.
Mm,
Listening in general, but listening with an intention to consciously listen, it's somehow the now becomes, rather than the great void, it's the great expanse of everything in it. It's anything but empty, right? It's the great fullness. So yeah, it's just such a privilege to be able to share inside community around the profundity of sound and how it moves us and aligns us to the present moment.
mm. Yeah, beautiful.
Hmm.
How these days have been so rich, so rich. I really want to invite everybody, as you're moving through your day today, to think about like what is it that you have to share. Like Gary is just overflowing with things to share. We're only in day 5. There's like 10 things he took off the table just for today. And Hope, Gary said you go to her website and there's so much there. She's just sharing what it is that's rising from inside of her. And when we tune in this place of rest and sacred renewal, we can find that unique oscillation that Hope brought us to, that unique song that each of us is. And when we let that be the guide, there's so much that we can naturally share from that place. And that's what brings us the kind of joy I can see on Hope's face as she, kind of shares her gifts, and Gary just kind of gushing, right? When we get to share this part that's actually like coming from inside of this deep place of internal coherence and love.
It's
So it's just
beautiful.
beautiful to be with both of you today and just watching the joy you have in sharing what it is that you've received when you actually came inside of yourself and let your own love sing.
It's so beautiful, Teresa. I want to acknowledge a couple of things. First of all, that just on the heels of that, Julie Krull, who's the reason Rest in Resonance was inspired because of her introduction for me to the Shelley Ostroff and Jan Golding. Again, an encouragement to go to 7 days of rest as kind of like a annual daily resource for rest and sacred renewal modalities because of the richness that they have. But the beautiful thing is, I wanted to read, Julie Krull said this beautiful quote, and now I've had it queued up here. Where is it? It's so beautiful. Did you see the one she said in response to the ayahuasca thing? Now I've lost it, but it's the only drug we need naturally. Here, she says, this is a beautiful invitation to trust the power of music as the only drug we need for altered states. Wow.
Mm,
And I love that, Julie.
beautiful,
And
beautiful.
So we're winding in. We have a final piece, but I think Teresa, it's your
Let's
time
do
to
the
share.
slides first, yeah, and then we'll
Yeah.
do the final piece.
Yeah.
So as you were saying, let's all go visit the 7 days of rest and sacred renewal. We'll put the links in the chat again. There is so much there being shared by people all around the world and enjoyed by people all around the world. And we are together in a really extraordinary field of resonance. And we can allow that field to really nourish and uplift us so that we can do more than we could do on our own. So we are in a big field. And as Gary said, Hope's website is full of wonderful things. And Hope, I wonder if there's anything you want to specifically invite people when they first go there. You know, sometimes when there's so much, like, how would I start when I go to your site?
So the thing that I am inviting people to now is my Monday night meditations. I started them as a way to give something during the lockdown period. All I could do was offer meditations. And so I started that a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago. And now what's happened is we have this beautiful group working through us called the Ahmad. And they come every Monday and they just take us on a journey that is so beautiful. I'm calling them up-tunements because it feels like we are being adjusted upwards. And they're free. And if you sign up to the website, then you'll get my weekly newsletter with the announcements and the links and all of that.
Beautiful. Thank you.
And I am going to have to jump off. I'm sorry. But I have a thing that is coming up and I don't want to be rude and all of a sudden disappear.
No, you fulfilled our desires beautifully, Hope. Thank you so much for sharing your beautiful work and your essence. Thank you so much.
I mean, it was just such a pleasure to be with both of you and your lovely listeners, viewers, etc. I love this project, the 7 Days of Rest. I think it's one of the best things I've ever been involved with. And to be with both of you as well as doing my own little contribution, it's just a huge treat. So thank you.
Well, we're sending you off with so much love. You're going to be in our infinity loop all day.
Yay!
And I love you so much, Hope. Mwah.
I love you too. Bye-bye.
Bless you.
And a few more slides, I think. I love the way you reframe even the invitations to our worlds as a beautiful example of wanting to share. So it's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, this is it's important, Gary, that people that they're experiencing what they're experiencing these 7 days, but then this isn't it, right? Like we could touch back into these rich places that we're introducing this community to find the resources and the moments of inspiration that we need when we need them. We're not always going to have our unconflicted behavior. And so we might need a moment to pause and choose again. Exactly. And your website is full, Gary, full of it. And are you going to do your song Saturdays or your?
This year it conflicted with the 7 Days of Rest. So I didn't even offer my soul song, which is normally the first Saturday of the month. But I love doing soul songs privately and with group. And it's based on the premise that St. Augustine said, prayers sung are prayers with wings. And we're going to have an experience, by the way, after these slides of experiencing my former creative partner and beloved friend, Michael Stillwater, which is his life's an embodiment of that St. Augustine statement. Look, if you join Wisdom of the World as a community, you'll get all these gifts and you'll find out about when I'm offering the soul song next and all that stuff. So please join our world and our community, which is really, if you see it right on the homepage, it's about remembering who you are and what matters most. That's the whole Wisdom of the World purpose. So
yeah. And we're going to have Gary and Shelley from 7 Days of Rest and Sacred Renewal as our guests on the next Global Coherence Pulse.
I'm hoping I'll be there.
We're hoping. Well, we're going to have you either way, Gary, whether you're in person or we're going to be with your music. So we'll have you either way. And it's a way for us to stay together. And please, if you want to stay connected to a community that's practicing cultivating coherence, come and check out the Islands of Coherence. We're going to reopen on January 15th during that pulse for new members to come in. And Gary, I have some ideas for us to offer some things inside the IOC, and we'll talk about that and we'll share more with the community. And then we have
Can't wait.
tomorrow, Jeff. Do you want to share why you decided to bring Jeff in for valuing?
These are all my rock star friends that I love so much, and I can't wait to introduce Jeff Patno to you. So yeah, you'll know Jeff is the founder of a legacy project called the Habits of Heroes: From Great to the Greater Good, and his Habits of Heroes leadership training program is all based on perennial universal values. And you're going to have a great pleasure to, he's been working with, he's not only an Episcopal priest for 40 plus years, but he's also one of the originators of the Spirit in Business movement in the 80s. And he's been working with Cisco, a little organization that had 10 employees when he started and now has 70,000. So he's a treasure, and I can't wait for you to meet him.
Great. I know I've seen a lot of links, a lot of questions also about the replays. And so there's a couple of places where you could watch the replays. The 7 Days of Rest and Sacred Renewal website, which there's a link there. There's a link to the replays on the Global Coherence Pulse website. And you can also go to the Global Coherence Pulse YouTube channel, and you will find them all there. And they're on Facebook. So there are lots of places where you can go and watch the replays of these events. So Gary, we have one last thing, and we're going to actually end a little bit sooner than we have been, which is a good thing.
I was trying to get in by 11:15, so thank you for your patience on this. We're closer. We're closer.
So everyone, please.
I just want to say before we do this final piece, Teresa, wow. I just can't tell you, like we've talked about before, this is a fulfillment of a dream that I've sensed for a long time, to be able to share this experience like this. And there's just nobody better than to understand exactly what the purpose of my work is all about than Teresa Collins. So thank you so much for being able to offer it to the altar of our experience together these 8 days. What a gift. And Kaylin Holmes, the champion of grounding this so that technologically we're covered. I just can't thank you and your partner Ian Downey enough for making this commitment, which is enormous, from Stava Productions. Thank you so much, Kaylin, and we love you so much.
We love you.
So this last piece is really, I thought to myself, how could I not acknowledge Michael Stillwater, who's my beloved co-creator of Graceful Passages. He's the reason. It's talk about reconnaissance. When I was steeped in my egoic need to do commercials and television shows and, all this stuff in commercial music world that I was doing in the 80s and 90s. And he came to me and said, if I were going to die tomorrow, I'd want your music to listen to. And so we started this project together, and that 3 years later was Graceful Passages. So this chant is the ultimate sharing. And I want to do a double thing here. The Tonglen practice, he has a psalm that's dedicated to that, but this is using the Tonglen practice to breathe in the pain of the world and to breathe out love everywhere, to all the molecules everywhere. So this is another form of sharing that Michael Stillwater at innerharmony.com, and I'll put his website later, he's devoted his life to the power of singing together as a tool for pinging the molecules of the planet, right? He's just been doing this since 1970s. He's one of the pioneers way before the Kirtan movement. He understood the power of repeating universal prayer. So I'd like you all to join me and Teresa in sending forth and sharing this loving infinity wave of loving consciousness as we sing Shanti Alleluia, Shalom Assalam, Shanti Alleluia, Shalom Assalam. Here we are. Feel free to sing along. The universe will be hearing you if we don't.
Shanti, Alleluia, Shalom, Assalam. 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 Live not just for our own, live not just for our own, live not just for our own, but live for the day when peace will lighten all the world. Live not just for our own, live not just for our own, live not just for our own, but live for the day when peace will lighten all the world. Shanti, Alleluia, Shalom, Assalam. Shanti, Alleluia, Shalom, Assalam. Shanti, Alleluia, Shalom, Assalam. Shanti, Alleluia, Shalom, Assalam. Live not just for our own, live not just for our own, live not just for our own, but live for the day when peace will lighten all the world. Live not just for our own, live not just for our own, live not just for our own, but live for the day when peace will just for our own, if not just for our own, if not just for our own, but live for the day when peace will lighten all the world. 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 Will lighten all the world. When peace will lighten all the world. When peace will lighten all the world. Let peace come 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 lighten all the world.
Mm,
Let peace enlighten all the world.
mm.
Thank you, Brother Michael Stillwater. Chant Wave live at Grace Cathedral. I was singing and playing with him with Christina Frith, who was there singing the solos. And it was a beautiful day, and it is a beautiful day today. Thank you for joining us. And you want to have closing words, Teresa?
When that was playing and I had my eyes closed, what I was seeing were the animals that we got to see in the beginning, and I just was feeling this love and peace just going out to all of the molecules. It was so beautiful.
Mm.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow, day 6. Share your love and light with the world.
Infinity waves forever. Take care.
Bye, everybody.